Welcome back to the deep dive. So if you're anything like most professionals out there, probably your biggest hurdle isn't really capacity, is it? It's it's context.
Yeah.
That constant, just exhausting shuffle between like a dozen different apps, the endless notifications. And just knowing that every time you switch screens, you're losing a bit of your focus. It's draining.
It really is.
Well, today we're diving deep into a pretty comprehensive source that it really tackles this messy reality head on. It promises to turn AI from, just a novelty feature into something more like the foundational operating system for your work life.
Yeah, tackling that info overload.
Exactly. But not with just tricks.
Yeah.
Right? It's about a strategic framework.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Our mission today is really to move past the hype, and extract the most actionable, the most strategic knowledge from this guide.
Okay.
We're looking for that structural solution that genuinely eliminates friction. And the source material, it lays out this remarkably clear three-stage framework, suggesting that, truly productive work isn't just about raw speed, it's about moving through these specific phases. And AI can transform how you handle each one.
I like that it starts by sort of diagnosing the core problem.
Yeah.
We're just stuck in reactive mode most of the time. Okay, so let's unpack this foundational idea then. It sounds like a journey. Starts with defense, maybe, and ends with something more strategic.
It is, absolutely. So stage one is block distractions.
Okay.
And this is just essential. It's the prerequisite. You simply cannot achieve deep work or, complex thought if you're constantly wrestling with administrative overhead.
Right. Email, notifications.
Exactly. The modern digital environment, let's face it, it's basically designed to fragment your attention. And AI, in this first stage, it becomes your dedicated tool for delegation. It minimizes that context switching, helps you reclaim your most precious asset, your mental energy.
And the payoff, I guess, for successfully blocking all those distractions is you suddenly have the mental bandwidth to be, curious again.
Yeah.
Which leads to stage two.
That's it. Scale yourself. This is where you shift gears. You transform from just an individual contributor into what the guide actually calls a team of one.
Team of one. I like that.
Yeah. This stage is all about amplification. Your unique insights, your natural talents, they still lead the way, but AI empowers them with just immense scale.
How so?
Well, you gain the ability to conduct research with the depth of an entire library, synthesize massive data sets, produce really high-quality deliverable stuff that previously would have needed multiple team members or, weeks of effort. You're just operating at a totally new magnitude.
Okay, so you block the noise, you amplify your abilities, then you need to point that power somewhere specific.
Which brings us straight to stage 3, get results. This is the measurable outcome part. It's about channeling all that amplified bandwidth towards specific, visible achievements.
The kind that managers notice.
Exactly. The kind that drive revenue, define market strategy, and ultimately, determine your career progression.
So the brilliance here is that it's a system, not just a collection of AI tricks.
Precisely. It's a complete system shift. Start with Defense Blog, build your capability scale, and then make sure it has strategic impact results.
Got it. So our goal for this deep dive is to use this exact framework to show you, the listener, how you can potentially transform your output, your career path even, moving from being just swamped by admin to being focused on strategic execution.
Right.
Let's kick off with a concept that seems to underpin all three stages. This idea of a unified approach and really mastering prompting.
Okay, so the core frustration, as the guide sees it, for professionals isn't really having too many tools. We all have lots of tools.
Right, is that they don't talk to each other.
Exactly, it's the lack of cohesion between them. The guide argues pretty strongly that if context doesn't seamlessly follow you from, say, research over to creation, you end up spending more time managing the technology layer than actually advancing your goals.
Oh, that mental tax is so real. Every new login, every time you copy and paste something, it's a little break in focus.
It's a tiny interruption, yeah. And they add up. So the solution proposed is this unified AI environment, something that eliminates the constant tax of toggling between scattered apps.
Okay, so consolidating the workflow. What are the key pieces of this unified platform that the source details? Sounds like there are a few core components.
Yeah, there are 5 foundational components, and they really map out the full professional cycle. First up is Comet.
Comet.
Yeah, Comet is the AI browser itself. Think of it not just as a window to the internet, but as an intelligent interface. It's capable of research, yeah, but also automated task execution, simplifying workflows right there in the browser.
Okay, so Comet's the base layer, the interface.
Yeah.
Then there must be something for actually making stuff, right? Where ideas become assets.
That's Labs. Think of Labs as your creation studio. This tool is specifically designed to bypass that traditional time sink of formatting and fiddling.
Oh, yes. Formatting slide.
Exactly. Labs lets you build professional deliverables. You know, polished presentations, complex dashboards, detailed proposals, just using natural language commands. You don't need to be a graphic designer.
Okay, so we've got the interface, Comet, and the production engine, Labs. But, I mean, any good professional output needs solid knowledge behind it.
Which is where research comes in. This is kind of the heavy lifting agent. It's dedicated to deep web and file research. When you really need reliability, this is the tool. It can process hundreds of sources, synthesize the data, and crucially, deliver clear, cited reports.
Cited reports, that's key for trust.
Absolutely. Ensures your strategies are built on reliable information, not just, gut feelings.
And with all this research and creation going on, organization becomes critical.
Yeah.
I'd lose track instantly. Is that Spaces?
You got it. Spaces are essential for knowledge retention. They let you organize all your research, your notes, internal files, even historical context, all sorted by project or topic.
So you're not starting from scratch every time.
Exactly. And critically, that context is always available for the AI to reference, which is really key for consistency down the line.
Makes sense. Okay, and the final piece tackles communication, which, let's be honest, is often the biggest distraction pit of all. The email assistant.
Yep. It integrates directly with your existing email platforms like Gmail or Outlook. Its job is to intelligently manage the inbox, prioritize what needs a response, help draft replies, even handle scheduling tasks.
Okay, so those 5 Comet Labs, research spaces, and the email assistant, they cover the whole workflow, basically. Discovery, creation, organization, communication.
That's the idea, a unified flow.
I find the guide's way of framing the power shift here really insightful. It's not just a bunch of features, it's like gaining a partner with 2 roles. A thinking partner and a working partner.
That's a great way to put it. The thinking partner role, that's mainly Comet and research supporting your actual cognitive process.
How so?
It gives you reliable information incredibly fast. Think market analysis, finding obscure technical details, reading through dense academic papers to pull out the key points. It instantly lifts the burden of just hunting and collecting information.
So you can focus just on the analysis part.
Precisely. But then the working partner, that's the execution side, and that feels like a real step change.
Yeah, that sounds different.
It is. The working partner, powered mainly by Labs and the agent features within Comet, handles the actual execution. It moves beyond just giving you information and actually does tasks.
Like what kind of tasks?
Scheduling meetings, managing email accounts, creating a fully formatted slide deck from notes, maybe even prototyping a small marketing campaign structure. It handles that routine, often multi-step work, freeing up your mental space entirely for the strategic thinking.
Which brings us right to what the source calls a critical aha moment. The shift needed for effective prompting.
Yeah.
It's not like searching Google, is it?
Not at all. It's moving away from just throwing keywords at a search engine and toward clearly articulating your goals and the desired outcomes.
So treating the AI less like a search box and more like, a team member.
An incredibly capable, but very literal team member. That's the key. If you give it a vague goal, you're going to get a vague result. The quality of the output is now directly, almost uncomfortably, proportional to the precision of your input.
Okay, let's contrast that. A less effective prompt might be something simple, like, tell me about our competitor's pricing strategy. That's broad, keyword why.
Right. A strong prompt, though, it establishes context, clearly defines the goal, and specifies the output format you want. For example, act like a seasoned financial analyst. Analyze the last 4 quarters of competitor X's public filings. Identify any shifts in their pricing models specifically for enterprise clients. Then, generate a 3-slide presentation outlining the risks and opportunities this presents for our Q4 sales strategy.
Wow, okay, that level of detail, that's the difference between just getting some info back and getting strategic execution support.
Huge difference. Or think about content creation. Instead of just generate a blog post on inventory management, which is super vague.
Yeah, what would you even get back?
Who knows? A stronger prompt would be, draft 3 distinct LinkedIn posts. Target them at mid-market retail CEOs. Use a professional but slightly provocative tone. Outline the top 3 challenges of manual inventory tracking, drawing from the issues identified in the attached file at Inventory Report. And make sure each post concludes with a clear call to action to download our new solution guide.
Okay, so you're combining context from a file, specifying the audience, the tone, the format, and the strategic intent. That's multi-layered.
And using your own context is critical here. The source highlights this at tab feature, which sounds really powerful. It lets you reference specific live web pages or documents you have open.
Ah, so you're not limited to stuff the AI has already indexed. You
Right.
could open, say, 2 competitor websites.
Exactly. Open 2 competitor landing pages in different tabs and then prompt something like, compare the pricing, the product features, and the core value proposition presented at tab 1 and at tab 2. Identify the unique differentiators for the company in tab 1 and summarize them for me in a SWOT analysis table.
That's immense. I mean, we've all spent hours manually copying bits of info between screens to make comparison tables. Doing that in one prompt, that changes things entirely.
Total workflow shift. And the final layer of mastering prompting, according to the guide, is structuring complex, multi-step workflows.
Because big tasks are rarely just one step.
Almost never. Comment might collapse the execution time, but you, the user, still need to structure the logic step by step. Consider this really strategic example. Okay, first, analyze the product page provided at this specific URL and extract a list of the top 5 key customer benefits it highlights. Second, find 3 competitor products that offer similar benefits and identify their current price and tiers. Finally, generate a detailed memo addressed to our internal product team, recommending feature prioritization based on the biggest market gaps we just discovered.
Oh. So that's research, competitive analysis, synthesis, and internal communication. 4 distinct steps, all defined in one go, executed seamlessly.
That's the power. So the key takeaway for you listening has to be, ditch the vague search query habit. If you really want to leverage this strategically, you have to treat the tool like a highly capable, context-aware teammate. Articulate the entire workflow, provide the context, specify the desired outcome. That's how you get strategic operation, not just isolated answers.
Okay, so we've got the unified tools. We understand the need for better prompting. But before we can really scale our ambition, we have to tackle the big enemy, constant distraction. Let's dig into the first pillar of the framework. Part 1, block distractions and reclaim focus. The source hits hard here, reminds us the average professional gets interrupted, every 11 minutes?
It's brutal. It's the ultimate friction in modern work. And the cost isn't just the few minutes lost in the interruption itself.
There's a recovery time. Right?
Exactly. It's the 20 minutes, sometimes more, it takes to actually get back into that state of deep focus. We end up becoming these reactive managers of administrative chaos rather than proactive thinkers. The goal of this whole stage, as the guide puts it quite nicely, is restoring the joy of focused work.
I like that, the joy of focused work. Okay, so the roadmap for delegating this chaos, it seems pretty clear, structured into 3 main ways to reclaim that focus. What are the key strategies here?
Okay, first, really using the tool as a robust personal assistant, delegating all those micro tasks that eat up time. Second, eliminating the mental toll of constant context switching by using those smooth, unified research and search capabilities we talked about.
Right.
And third, automating the repetitive, often multi-step work that just consistently chips away at your day.
Okay, let's zero in on that personal assistant idea first. Particularly the difference the guide makes between the Comet Assistant and the Comet Agent. That distinction seems fundamental.
It really is. They sound similar, but they do different things. The Comet Assistant is best thought of as your passive, dedicated reader and understander.
A reader and understander.
Yeah, it usually sits in your browser sidebar, and its main job is to help you read, understand, and keep track of whatever page you're currently looking at. Its core function is rapid comprehension.
So things like summarizing long articles, maybe translating a technical paper from another language, giving you quick fact checks or definitions right there.
Exactly. Conversational support, maintaining awareness of what's in your tabs. It's always kind of listening to the immediate context of the page you're on.
Okay. And the source gives some high-value prompt examples.
Yeah, and they showcase its analytic depth. It's not just basic summarization. You can feed it huge amounts of text and ask for strategic interpretation. For instance, analyze this 50-page vendor contract. Highlight all the clauses related to data ownership, dispute resolution, and any potential exit penalties. Then summarize those findings into clear bullet points for my legal team's review.
Wow, okay. That's high-stakes analysis, not just a summary.
Definitely. Or using it for rapid internal analytics. Analyze the content of my outbound sales emails from the last month. Share insights about which subject lines and calls to action got reply rates over 30%. And based on that, suggest 3 ways I could improve my current average reply rate.
Okay, so that's the assistant, the reader, the understander. How does the comment agent differ?
The agent is the doer, the task executor. The critical distinction is that the agent needs explicit higher-level permissions because it might need to take control of the browser to execute workflows.
Ah,
These workflows often involve interactions across multiple websites, maybe your calendar or third-party apps you've connected. It goes beyond just reading the page.
which is why the guide tips us off to start the prompt explicitly with something like, take control of my browser and.
Exactly right. That phrase signals you want it to move beyond just reading and start interacting. Examples could be, take control of my browser and find the latest published journal articles on the geopolitical risk of rare earth elements. Open the 5 most cited articles, each in a new tab. Then, summarize the primary conflicting viewpoints you find into a short memo for me.
That's a complex research task automated. Or maybe tackling just general browser clutter.
Oh, absolutely. A common annoyance solver. Group all my currently open browser tabs by their domain name and relevance to the project I've marked Q4 planning in my spaces. Close any tabs that haven't been active for more than 3 hours, and save the rest of the relevant ones into my Q4 space.
Okay, that's pure proactive workspace hygiene right there. Love that.
But the major black hole for focus, for most people, it remains the inbox, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Checking email constantly. The source says every 12 minutes on average. That's a productivity killer.
Total killer. And the email assistant is designed specifically to try and conquer that disruption.
Integration with Gmail and Outlook is obviously key. But how does it actively help preserve focus beyond just, say, helping draft a reply?
Well, its intelligent categorization is a big part of it. It uses smart auto-labeling to sort incoming mail into buckets like to respond, FYI, and just notifications.
Ah, so you only need to actively look at the important stuff.
Right. It drastically reduces the frequency you need to even engage with non-critical mail. But the real potential game changer they mention is voice-matched reply generation.
Voice meshed, what does that mean?
The AI actually studies your historical email style, your typical tone, your preferred sign-offs, your level of formality with different contacts, and it uses that learning to ensure that the routine correspondence it handles autonomously still sounds like you.
That tackles the authenticity problem, right? Nobody wants replies that sound robotic or generic.
Exactly. It's a huge trust issue. If the AI can genuinely mimic your style for routine stuff, that's a massive win for delegation.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, shifting gears slightly to context switching again. The guide argues the solution lies in unifying the search experience itself.
Yeah, we've all been there. You need a piece of sales data from Salesforce, a project doc from Notion, maybe a technical detail from GitHub.
3 different logins, 3 searches, clicking around.
Exactly. 3 minutes lost each time, plus the focus break. App connectors for unified search aim to solve this. They let the AI retrieve information across all those disparate connected platforms without forcing you to manually log in and switch each time.
That sounds like a pretty big technical hurdle. How does that actually work? How can it search inside proprietary tools like Salesforce, not just the public web?
Well, the AI isn't just like scraping websites. It's typically querying the official APIs of the applications you've connected.
Okay.
So it maintains all the access control and security permissions defined within those systems. The security boundaries stay intact, but the cognitive boundary for you, the user, is effectively eliminated. You ask in one place.
Which makes something like meeting prep potentially frictionless, instead of that frantic hour beforehand gathering data from everywhere.
Right. You could just prompt something like, okay, prepare me for the 3 p.m. quarterly business review. Find the current KPIs from our dashboard tool. Pull the last 5 relevant project initiative updates from Linear, and grab any recent prospect communication history for our top 5 clients listed in HubSpot, all in one go.
Or even for finding internal documents. Find the latest product roadmap document stored in Notion and synthesize it with all the recent stakeholder feedback captured in the relevant Slack channels over the past month. Highlight any areas where the current roadmap seems to contradict the feedback we've received.
Powerful synthesis. And the final piece of blocking distractions is automating those recurring workflows. The little micro jobs we do over and over that just drain us.
Right, the death by 1,000 cuts.
Precisely. This is where Comet shortcuts, those quick/commands like in Perplexity tasks, which are like scheduled automated research queries, come in. They turn complex routines into background tasks.
Okay, give me an example of a sophisticated shortcut, like the weekly status one mentioned.
Yeah, the weekly status shortcut is a great example because it doesn't just pull data, it executes sequential logic. The underlying prompt tells it to. First, pull the latest project completion status from Asana. Second, analyze the current sales pipeline progression from HubSpot. Third, assess the team's meeting capacity against planned time off using calendar data. And finally, generate a concise executive summary, flagging any potential risk areas and highlighting required leadership decisions.
Wow, that whole sequence, done automatically with a single shortcut that could replace hours of manual data pulling and report formatting every single week.
Huge potential ROI, yeah. That's real-time back.
And tasks, that's the scheduled automated side, like setting up your own personal newsfeed.
Exactly. Think of task as subscribing to knowledge you define as important, delivered automatically on your schedule. The example of creating a personal weekly newsletter is quite strategic. You schedule a routine query that summarizes maybe your own weekly output, key meetings attended, deadlines met, alongside important industry news pulled from a list of sites you monitor, maybe even ending with a relevant strategic quote.
And that gets delivered to your inbox automatically every Friday afternoon.
Yeah, or whenever you schedule it. It ensures you're constantly informed on the topics you care about without having to manually perform those repetitive searches week after week.
Okay. The outcome of successfully implementing part one seems really clear. The unnecessary friction starts to disappear. Your attention is restored. You're no longer just managing tools. You're starting to manage strategy again.
And with that time and focus protected, the transition to part two, scale yourself and amplify curiosity, feels like the natural next step, doesn't it?
It does.
The guide really emphasizes that this is where AI shifts from being just a shield against disruption to becoming a fundamental force multiplier for your abilities. It allows you to tackle bigger, more complex challenges with the kind of rigor and depth they truly deserve.
So we're moving beyond just personal efficiency now, towards something more like systemic, maybe even organizational impact. The source identifies 4 critical ways professionals can scale their capabilities in this phase.
That's right. It's about shifting from isolated tasks to more integrated systems thinking. So, number 1, building AI directly into your existing workflows, making it systematic, not just ad hoc. 2, advanced research achieving that analytical depth you might normally associate with a dedicated intelligence team.
Okay.
3, content creation generating those polished professional deliverables at massive speed. And 4, complex problem solving, gaining access to expert-level know-how even outside your immediate functional domain.
I like the conceptual anchor they use here. Starting to think more like a manager focusing on building systems instead of just completing individual tasks.
Yeah. Precisely. It's a mindset shift. So if you're a product manager, maybe the old task was just write up competitor analysis.
Right, a one-off report.
Yeah. The new system is conduct continuous competitive intelligence that constantly monitors new product releases, actively informs our future pricing strategy based on market moves, and consistently arms our sales team with relevant, up-to-date talking points. See the difference? It requires weaving together research, labs, maybe spaces, into an ongoing process.
That's much more strategic.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk more about advanced research. The power here seems to lie in both reliability and depth. But when you're processing potentially hundreds of sources, the question of, citation and handling conflicting viewpoints must be crucial.
Oh, absolutely critical. And the research tool is specifically designed not just to aggregate information, but to synthesize it, identify the provenance of claims, and cite its sources clearly. You're not just asking for info, you're asking for comprehensive intelligence.
Like for strategic planning.
Exactly. Strategic planning needs massive data sets. Imagine prompting. Evaluate the long-term viability of the North American renewable energy storage market. Include major technology trends, key players involved, projected customer segments for utility-scale projects, and break down the current regulatory landscape state by state. And provide a detailed risk assessment matrix based on your findings.
Wow, that sounds like the workload of a small consulting firm, done via prompt.
Pretty much. Or think about a really specialized technical space. Conduct a technology assessment focusing on decentralized ledger technology applications specifically for supply chain logistics within the pharmaceuticals industry. Identify the leading vendors currently exploring this, pinpoint the main barriers to adoption like regulatory compliance hurdles, and try to estimate a realistic commercial viability timeline.
Okay, and what about for crucial market validation before launching something new?
Yeah, super important application you could prompt. Perform deep research into the primary operational challenges currently facing mid-market retail companies, specifically around inventory management as of Q3 2024. Use sentiment analysis, looking at customer forums and recent industry publications to identify potential unmet needs. Then, provide a product feature recommendation based on our current capabilities that might address one of those needs.
So you're getting granular, almost real-time market insights that would normally require maybe significant survey investment or focus groups.
That's the idea. And this scaling of knowledge then feeds directly into content creation using labs. The source material makes a painful point. It often takes twice as long to format and polish an idea as it took to actually conceive it.
Oh, tell me about it. The formatting trap.
Labs is designed to handle exactly that execution gap. When we talk about professional deliverables, those polished presentations, reports, proposals, Labs takes your strategic direction, maybe your rough notes, and applies expert design and formatting principles automatically. It can even leverage internal style guides you've provided via Spaces.
So the prompt needs to be high-level strategically, but maybe quite specific about the goal and context.
Yes. Something like, okay, take my meeting notes from the last 3 strategy sessions, plus the Q3 financial data pulled from our ERP system via the connector, and create a board-ready presentation deck. The presentation absolutely must cover Q3 performance, clearly articulate the top 3 market challenges we're currently facing, and provide clear Q4 objectives with specific accompanying action items. Oh, and ensure the final formatting adheres strictly to the executive review template found in our internal branding space.
Okay, so it moves content creation from being a fiddly manual task to more of a synthesis exercise where you focus only on the intellectual input.
Exactly, and we shouldn't forget the visual assets capability mentioned things like image generation for creating custom diagrams, data visualizations, maybe even generating outlines or scripts for professional training videos, all produced internally and much more rapidly.
Right, but let's address that challenge of consistency. When you scale up creative output like this, you run the risk of losing your company's brand voice or style. How do Spaces solve that tension?
Spaces act as these knowledge silos, but with personality and rules built in. By defining custom instructions within a space, and critically uploading example documents like maybe your company's best ever sales deck or your official tone of voice guide.
You train the AI for that specific context.
Precisely. You train the AI on your specific institutional knowledge and voice. So when the AI generates content for that space, it automatically prioritizes that context and consistency. It also makes knowledge transfer almost instantaneous. Imagine if a high performer leaves, their project context, their best practices, they're preserved and accessible within that space.
That's a huge benefit. Okay, let's look at 2 specific space templates, the source highlights. First, the prospect researcher. What's its focus?
Okay, this template is specifically trained to gather detailed, sometimes sensitive, intelligence. It uses a persona like a seasoned business development advisor. Its core mission isn't just collecting data, but gathering things like financial profiles, detailed tech stacks, finding the specific decision makers, and critically, analyzing the target company's current challenges to proactively identify integration opportunities or pain points that directly align with your solutions.
So it's not just data collection, it's analyzing for sales potential.
Exactly, pre-qualifying almost.
And the other template mentioned, the product enablement hub.
This one sounds invaluable for internal teams, especially sales and support, ensuring consistency in customer-facing interactions. It's trained primarily on internal documents, FAQs, sales decks, product briefs. Its main directive is to provide confident, accurate, customer-ready responses that clearly articulate value propositions and product differentiation. And crucially, every output it generates must cite the specific source material it pulled the information from.
So the sales or support person can trust the answer and see where it came from. Builds confidence.
Huge for confidence and accuracy, yeah. Allows teams to answer complex questions quickly but reliably.
Okay, and finally, scaling yourself also means enhanced problem solving, this idea of gaining expert-level know-how even outside your direct area of expertise.
Yeah, this is like strategic cross-pollination in action. You can leverage the AI to research methodologies and strategies from entirely different industries and see how they might apply to your challenges.
Give me an example.
Okay, maybe you work in service delivery. You could prompt: research how high-growth manufacturing companies approach complex demand forecasting, resource allocation, and operational optimization strategies. Detail how those specific manufacturing strategies could potentially be adapted and applied to improve our current service delivery capacity planning and team scheduling model.
Wow. So you're instantaneously borrowing potentially decades of expertise and best practices from a completely separate field.
That's the potential. Or imagine facing a major strategic shift, like moving to a freemium model. Instead of guessing, you research. Research successful freemium implementations specifically within B2B software. Focus on their conversion strategies from free to paid, identify the optimal feature differentiation approaches they use for the free tier, and list the common operational and product pitfalls they encountered during that transition.
That level of deep strategic preparation?
Yeah.
Yeah, that used to be reserved for expensive months-long consulting engagements.
Exactly. Now it's potentially accessible through a well-crafted research prompt.
Okay, so we've protected our focus, we've scaled up our capability significantly. Now we hit the culmination. Part 3, get results and drive career advancement. This feels like where the rubber meets the road. It's where high performers really distinguish themselves, right? By strategically channeling all that amplified capacity into tangible, measurable outcomes that the organization actually recognizes and, frankly, rewards.
Absolutely. This is all about making the effort and the impact visible and undeniable. We're focusing here on 4 key areas where professionals constantly need to demonstrate concrete value: their performance reviews, effective lead generation, successful sales outcomes, and reliable project delivery. The core idea is if you're using this AI framework correctly, you should be able to leverage hard data to prove your value, not just, describe it anecdotally.
Let's start with performance reviews. The guide makes a great point. They're often so subjective, based on memory or perception. It sounds like AI changes this entirely by basing the review on comprehensive data analysis of your actual work product.
Yes, exactly. Comet, connected to your other systems, can synthesize data from your project management tools, maybe your email volume and responsiveness, your calendar allocation, all to compile objective evidence of your achievements. The source provides 3 really high-impact analytical prompts designed specifically to arm you for those crucial promotion or review discussions.
Okay, what's the first one? Work pattern and productivity analysis. Tell me about that.
Right. For this, you'd prompt the AI something like, review my project management beta logs over the last quarter, analyze my calendar time allocation patterns, and review my communication logs, maybe email and Slack, to identify productivity trends. Specifically, try to quantify the time saved due to any automated shortcuts I implemented, and compare my actual time allocation effectiveness against the defined goals for my key projects.
Okay, so that moves the conversation immediately from a vague, I work hard, to something concrete like, I strategically allocate my time, and here's evidence of quantifiable efficiency gains I achieved.
Precisely. Data-driven justification. The second prompt tackles the often softer side of reviews with hard data: skills development assessment.
How does that work?
The prompt might be, review my recent project responsibilities, gather any formal or informal performance feedback logged from peers, and assess the increasing complexity of the tasks I successfully completed. Use this to identify my skill development progression over this review period. Highlight 3 specific areas where I showed significant growth, and if possible, try to quantify the business impact of that new skill, for example, maybe a 15% reduction in bug reports on projects I oversaw due to improved technical oversight skills.
Again, turning subjective growth into measurable impact. And the third one sounds maybe the most important for getting ahead: strengths and differentiation identification.
Yeah, this one's key for promotion arguments. The prompt directs the AI to analyze my comprehensive performance data, client feedback records, and my collaboration history across teams. Identify my unique strengths, my differentiating capabilities, and any competitive advantages that genuinely set me apart from peers in similar roles within the organization. Please include specific, quantified evidence wherever possible to back up claims about my unique value proposition and demonstrable leadership potential.
Wow, that generates the exact data-backed talking points you need to argue for a raise or a bigger role.
That's the goal. And then labs can take all that analysis and convert it into a professional, defensible document.
Right. The output prompt.
Simple but powerful. Generate a comprehensive performance review report suitable for my manager. Cover my key achievements, their business impact, my demonstrated skill development, and any cross-functional leadership contributions. Ensure the tone is objective and professional throughout. Include specific metrics, cite project examples, and offer professional growth recommendations based on all the analyzed data.
Okay, huge potential impact on reviews. Now, moving to lead generation and business development. The aim here is converting all that market knowledge we can now gather into systematic, repeatable revenue pipelines, right?
Yes.
Bypassing all that manual, time-consuming prospecting research.
Exactly. And the guide's example of the lead gen dashboard illustrates the strategic power of integrating these tools perfectly. The prompt they suggest is incredibly specific, which is key. Find 25 B2B SaaS companies that have successfully raised a Series A funding round within the last 12 months. They must operate primarily in the US market and be actively hiring for sales leadership roles right now, verifiable on LinkedIn. Create a dashboard using Labs that includes the company name, the funding amount raised, the primary decision maker's contact email if available, and their current hiring status. Then, based on this, draft a 3-paragraph cold outreach email template that specifically references their recent funding round and proposes our solution as relevant to their growth phase.
Okay, hold on. That single request that could replace potentially a month's worth of manual market screening, data aggregation, painful spreadsheet creation, and then drafting outreach emails.
That's the point. It's not just about doing it faster, it's about creating a systemic business development engine.
Wow. And prospect intelligence goes even deeper, making sure the outreach is actually relevant.
Yes, you can use prompts like research target company name using all available public data sources, including recent financial news and press releases, identify their current primary competitive challenges, any stated operational pain points, and their likely strategic initiatives for the next 2 quarters. Create a concise summary memo focusing specifically on potential budget allocation trends or areas where they might be looking to invest. Deeper intel for better conversations.
Okay. Finally, let's talk sales and deal closing. The big friction point here is often just the sheer time it takes to generate customized, professional-looking sales assets for every single prospect.
And time kills deals, as they say. Labs can drastically accelerate this part of the cycle. Using personalized outreach prompts, for instance, the AI can draft emails that dynamically reference a specific prospect's recent business development activity, maybe something Comet Research just found, and then propose highly customized solutions based on that context.
And the custom proposal generation feature must integrate all those layers of context too. The research the prospect needs.
It absolutely should. You could prompt something like, generate a tailored service proposal specifically for Acme Corp. It needs to directly address their identified challenge of Q3 inventory reconciliation errors, which we noted in our prospectus file. The proposal must include a detailed problem analysis based on our understanding, a proposed project timeline with clear deliverables, and suggest quantified success metrics, like aiming for a 10% reduction in errors. And make sure it uses the official high-value proposal template stored in our sales team space.
Tailored, fast, and consistent. Okay. And the ultimate strategic result, the guide highlights here using Labs for Sales Leadership, is that interactive win-loss analysis dashboard.
That sounds powerful.
Oh, this is critical for actually improving sales strategy over time, not just reacting.
Yeah.
This dashboard isn't just a static report. It's generated from potentially complex sales data, maybe from Salesforce via a connector, and it requires highly specific components to be useful. Things like the overall win-loss rate, yeah, but crucially, a detailed breakdown of the reasons for wins versus losses. Was it pricing, product fit, brand perception, bad timing?
Right, getting to the why.
Exactly. Plus, trend analysis over time and filtering capabilities. Let me see, wins, losses by region or by industry or by deal size. This moves sales analysis away from just being retroactive storytelling in meetings to becoming proactive, data-driven strategy planning for the future. So when you pull it all together, the comprehensive takeaway from this guide is really a complete reframing of how we approach professional effort. Work doesn't have to be this scattered, fragmented, overwhelming thing anymore.
Right. By consciously unifying your tools and rigorously adopting this kind of 3-stage approach, block distractions first, then scale yourself, then get results. AI can systematically remove friction at basically every layer, from basic communication right up to advanced strategic analysis.
And the goal is that your unique perspective, your creativity, your natural curiosity, they're supported, not drowned out.
Exactly. Supported by the rigor and the scale of what amounts to an always-on expert system working alongside you.
So the real power here isn't just about, finishing your to-do list faster, although that's nice. It's about freeing up your most valuable resource, which is your focused attention. So you can actually concentrate on the high-level strategic work that, honestly, only you can do.
Well put. When the AI handles the complexity, the administrative overhead, the execution details, you're suddenly free to define and actually achieve career goals that might have previously seemed impossible simply because of the sheer volume of tasks involved.
Leading the way with more clarity, maybe more energy, and hopefully, as the guide says, more genuine joy in the work itself.
And maybe that leaves us with just a final thought for you, the listener, to kind of chew on. If this framework or something like it genuinely frees up, say, 2 or 3 hours of previously administrative time in your workday, are you actually prepared to fill that vacuum with deliberate, strategic, high-impact activities?
Or will you just let that newfound capacity slowly get reconsumed by, more meetings, more emails, less essential demands?
The capacity could be yours, but the strategic choice about how to use it, that still has to be made by you.